Okay, where are we? Saturday the 28th of December, I believe. That hat makes me a little bit hot. It's a warm day out. Well over 95 degrees outside, but it's good. I mean, there's a bit of a breeze if you're in the shade. The house is very pleasant. So, sunny coast Queensland, really one of the best climates I've ever found. All in all, nights still cool, sleep under a decent blanket, wake up chilly, and then it gets all really hot and you work. So we've been up since about 6 or 7, mowed, and the boys, you can hear them in the background. That's a machine we have working. Of course, I get this pull string power blaster, which is really good for a lot of things. You can turn up it's an industrial grade machine. But of course, the boys, Mendoza, the operator, wants to use it for the smallest jobs, where a garden hose and a nozzle will work. He gets this big monster out and cranks it up, and so be it. I don't interfere too much. We're cleaning in preparation for the Christmas, New Year's festivities. We have a lot of Solomon Islanders around us. We consider ourselves in exile this year because most Solomon Islanders would be hopping on a plane and trying to get back, especially if you're from the West. I mean, I don't want to blast Philippines, Malaysia, or Macura, or the East, or any of the other lovely islands, but the West is best. And if you're from the West, that's where you want to be over Christmas. So our families will be there. We will not be there with them. Nobody can travel. Welcome to the modern world. So, where are we? What are we doing? It's been quite a while since I've gotten online. I've been very busy. I got to go back in time to right around the U.S. election, where I got knocked down for a week or maybe a bit more by a good bout of malaria. It took the stuffing out of me. And what took the stuffing out of me was not getting sick, but the malarial medicine. Really, I remember now why we tried so hard not to take those poisons, and such it is. So it's been several weeks. Where are we now? I mean, here in this country, the borders are opening up, and it's funny. And there's so many things that are out there right now that are bits of important updates. I don't dare call it news because it's far from news, but there's a lot happening that changes things to a degree. And to me, the way these things have transpired, it proves to me it's political. So for instance, Queensland just had an election. The Labour Premier, as an incumbent in power in the provincial assembly, the state legislature, state senate, I think it's called here. Every place a little different. You got to get your terms right. I believe it's the state senate. She got in power, kept her job, got voted back in, mainly on the strength of her keeping the Queensland economy somewhat open. She closed the borders. That really hurt a lot of people. We saw a lot of farce taking place in that. We can close the borders to people that want to go visit their dying relatives, but if you're a sporting team and you're going to bring a lot of money into the economy through a major sporting event, well, by all means, we'll let it happen. Australia, and so this premier is back in on the strength of everyone being happy with her keeping. The local economy didn't shut down. There are places here, whether it's Sydney or Melbourne or New York City, Paris, many places got fucking shut down. You couldn't leave your house. The police were out. There's so many stories. You go for a drive. There were so many. We had restrictions on us, but they were lenient. And we never not carried on with our old fart lives. It was pretty good. Paul and his family never not carried on with their lives. So Queensland was happy with what had happened. They voted the Premier Palaszczuk back in. And so with that behind us, we get to open the borders And we get to be heroes and great people because we do it on the 1st December and everyone can have Christmas and the economy can come back. So there's good things and bad things what's happened. I mourn the death of the airline industry. The airline industry will never be the same. I know people working in it. I know people who are big players in it. And what once was a very secure investment. Now, that doesn't matter if you're an investor investing in an airline or somebody investing in a career, whether you're a pilot or a service technician or anyone. The airline jobs paid well and they were secure. Not anymore. So, and that's not going to come back. I mean, the airlines just aren't going to come back to what they were. I think it'll be a long time before we see travel what it was. Two things occur. There will be less flights and they will be more expensive. So there it goes. We are lucky to have lived through that era of grand travel. So here in Oz, it's pretty good. I mean, like I say, we can't complain. I have the boys back at school holidays. This is summertime here. So for December and January, there is no school. So we have Mendoza preparing for his 11th grade in grammar school next year. Angelo has graduated from 12th grade, so he needs to make decisions what he's doing. I never really trust 18-year-olds to make good decisions. Males and females, there's not a lot of difference. They're both hormonally imbalanced and they both have grand ideas and expectations. So, yeah, I mean, say no more there. So, yeah, Christmas coming on. We will host probably a week-long Solomon's in Exile Christmas, New Year's party here. So we'll probably start Christmas and carry on past New Year's. Whoever wants to come can come. I'll set up a nice little camping tent and an outdoor village, and we'll make it really comfortable and nice. And we'll live outdoors and see what happens for what is the duration of the holidays, about the 23rd to the 3rd. So holidays last a long time when you're an islander. We like holidays. So here in Queensland, it's good. The United States, you know, a lot of people, there's either great consternation or angst or unhappiness, or there's great jubilation. And both of them are kind of false. Both of them are kind of wrong. You know, the polarized nature of politics is there. I mean, I have family members that just because I disagreed with them, I got abused and berated and basically, I mean, honestly called names and told what a kind of a turd I am for not agreeing. And part of the reason I'm a turd is because I've been successful and I've made money and I can think for myself and I don't owe anybody anything anywhere. So I guess that makes me a bit of a loose cannon on the ship of state because I don't have a team I'm supporting. But when the United States has such an emotion-fueled election with such a high voter turnout, and I've got to joke a little bit because how much of that voter turnout is fraud, but nonetheless, the result is the result. And what the result tells us is it's split right down the fucking center. And you go electorate, county, constituency by constituency, and you see amazing things happening. Now, of course, there are constituencies that we know of that are 100% dyed-in-the-wool conservatives, and there are constituencies that are total loony left liberals. We know that. And then there's the in-between. And the in-between's much larger. It's the noisy sons of bitches, the noisy motherfuckers that get the press. I mean, it's not the grandma sitting at home. But, you know, there was no doubt, and both sides admit to this. I think of California, where both Republicans and Democrats set up systems to legally harvest ballots. Now, some people can call that voter activism. We want everyone to vote, put it here. But, you know, I think of ethnic communities where languages are spoken. So, and it happened here. A guy got down in Sydney, got done. Yeah, he's from a Lebanese ethnic background, and there are large communities that don't speak English. So you get a young Lebanese speaker, go around to all the aunties and uncles and lonely old people and have a cup of tea and a cake with them and help them fill out their form. That is ballot harvesting. But that's okay. I mean, it depends how you do it and where you do it and who does it. Seems whether it's legal or not. The Supreme Court has made some interesting rulings. I think that this COVID stuff has been a lot of social engineering when the fiat of position, what I mean by that is when Governor Cuomo of New York can just make decisions that, I mean, it's happened here. You can't have more than 20 at a funeral, but you can get 50,000 into a sporting event. So come on, guys. It's a little bit on the sad side. We know it's been in the news here. A lot of movies get made down here, around this area even, in the Gold Coast, the big Universal and Warner Brothers facilities. And a lot of wealthy people just get to come in. Now, there are people that do not have the money to impress. And so they end up going through a bit of drama and hardship before they can sort themselves out. But if you got the money, you pay, you play. It's the way it is. So I see we're split down the middle in the U.S. Here, again, you know, the Liberal Party's in. We'll see what happens. They've been in for 4 years. They're not fiscally well-minded, but there was a previous government with a guy by the name of Campbell Newman that tried really hard to be fiscally responsible. They voted his ass out. They didn't want austerity measures. No way. So, I mean, the electorate gets to decide. If you believe in the United States there was not voter fraud, then I think you got your head in the sand, because if a prize is not worth fighting for, cheating for, it's not worth going for. So, I mean, and by all means, places like Philly is known to be the voter fraud capital of the world. So, it's almost done. I hear my boys turned their machines off. They might be getting hungry. I'm cooking for them. It's about 1 p.m. We've been cranking since easily 7. So, life is good, and we'll try to get back into this vlogging business soon. Smiles.